Yeah, he does baseball broadcasts so he can watch good baseball because his team doesn't play much of that.
Okay, fuck off. You're a Mariners fan, okay?
Okay, yeah. Your owner is Artie Moreno, so
Yeah, and your owner won't spend a goddamn dime either.
you had Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani for how many years and you didn't win a single playoff game?
You had the best pitching staff in baseball and didn't make the playoffs.
We have a lot of fun talking about baseball, in case you can't tell.
Welcome to our baseball dynamic.
Yes.
Welcome everybody to the Media Guide podcast. I'm Alin, Beane, Chase Dulude on side.
Hello.
Trying to make a joke about who was offsides, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, pretty much everyone was, especially Chiefs offensive linemen.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
But anyway, here we are with the Media Guide podcast, here to give you everything you want to know about sports broadcasting from two students looking to get into the broadcasting industry.
Yes,
So,
sir.
for our inaugural episode, I think it would be perfect for us to just explain who we are. Why are we talking about broadcasting in the first place? So I'll go ahead and throw it over to my co-host here, Chase Dulude. What brings you here to the Media Guide podcast?
So I am obviously a student here at Nevada. I'm a junior, senior in credits. I've done. I want to become a play-by-play guy, and I've been doing broadcasting for Nevada volleyball, Nevada soccer, Nevada softball, and Nevada swimming. Though the last one does have some issues with that. But I've been doing that for my entire time I've been here, so the last 2.5 years, and I've loved it wholeheartedly throughout, and I want to keep going, maybe Nevada Sportsnet or, wherever life takes me, but I just want to get paid to talk about sports. It sounds fun.
Exactly. He broadcasts for Nevada, not UNR.
Yeah, UNLV. There's an L in the name for a reason.
We'll get to that at a later date. Yeah, anyway, I'm Alin Beane. I've kind of wanted to do sports commentary since high school. I haven't taken the proactive approach that Chase has quite yet. Still waiting for that opportunity, but yeah, right now I'm running my own. Contrary to what you may believe, because of all my stumbling, I do have my own sportscasting channel with Beanball Broadcast on Twitch. If you want to check it out, had an opportunity to practice my stuff. I need to get that started back up again.
Yeah, he does baseball broadcasts so he can watch good baseball because his team doesn't play much of that.
Okay, fuck off. You're a Mariners fan, okay?
Okay, yeah, but your owner is Artie Moreno, so
yeah, and your owner won't spend a goddamn dime either.
You had Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani for how many years and you didn't win a single playoff game?
You had the best pitching staff in baseball and didn't make the playoffs.
We have a lot of fun talking about baseball, in case you can't tell.
Welcome to our baseball dynamic.
Yes.
Yeah, Raiders and Packers isn't exactly a fun thing with football, so baseball is our main discourse.
Yeah.
But Beanball Broadcast, if you want to check me out, MacLeod Network for Chase over here. But yeah, that's just a short little introduction. So, how has your career gone so far? Or any updates? Anything at all?
I mean that kind of sums it up. I'm trying to get in with Nevada Sportsnet. I've worked with them a lot on just when I've been doing photography or reporting for the Nevada Sagebrush, I've been able to make some connections there. So gonna try to go for an internship next semester or the semester after that. So yeah, hopefully I can get my foot in the door there and go from there.
Nice. Speaking of graduation, we were talking with our friend group where there's 3 of us in the same class. No matter what, we're planning on graduating in separate semesters.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a guarantee now.
Pretty much,
because I'm not gonna be able to graduate in the spring of 25 because of the parish trip.
Yeah,
so I'll be able to walk. That'll be fine. But I won't officially get my diploma until summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, our friend group will all officially be graduating on different semesters, even though we're all technically seniors.
Yeah, we're all It is a very complicated family tree in the friend group.
Exactly.
Much like every tree in Alabama. Anyway.
You mean the family circles over there?
Oh, yes, exactly.
All right, before we just start throwing shade at other programs, for this first episode, we're just going to talk about the history of sports broadcasting and how it has gotten to where it is now with the insane amount of simulcast broadcasting. The amount of graphics they can do nowadays, man.
Yeah.
Have all that prepared and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, it has developed over a long time from the simple days of the Fox box to now where you see some really impressive graphic design. And then there's CBS's current sports package. We're not going to talk about that, though.
No, honestly, was it them that like we saw that one at Rick's the other day, where it's like this really bad NBA one? Was that them or was that someone else?
I think that was TNT, if I want to say. I think, no, that.
Yeah.
No, I don't know which one that was. All I know is that CBS has had really good NFL graphics for a very long time, but they dropped the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
Arial font. Come on.
For those listening, we're talking about the NBA broadcast where it's like you have the two teams side by side with the scores, the team abbreviation, and then the score right below it, and then all the other information.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. I think the big one that a lot of people talk about with just being absolute trash is the Bally Sports baseball one.
Oh, God.
I don't understand why. Like, I get it. It's like the NFL package with like Fox for a while. I really liked how Fox did it, like below their broadcasts and on the NFL Network too. Just like putting it at the bottom and like just like a black box, separated from the scoreboard itself. I liked that because it delivered the information like from across the league that you might not be able to look up at the time. But for the most part, that's not like necessary on a broadcast, because most of the time, if I'm watching a team that's on TV, I'm usually either forced to be there or want to be there. And really all I need is information about that game, unless we're talking about like end of the regular season when there's teams fighting for the playoffs. But even then, all you need is the score. So for Bally Sports to just have the score be just a small part of the broadcast, that just like, it doesn't make much sense to me why you would do that. Because if I'm watching, like, I don't know, let's give an example, like an A's Mariners game, I don't need to know what Juan Soto or Aaron Judge is doing. I'm there to watch the A's Mariners game and just see how few fans are in the Oakland Coliseum. I mean, it's like that's all I need to know. I don't need any of the extra stuff. It's weird.
I'm just trying to figure out what scoreboard bug that was for the NBA that we were talking about. I'm not finding it at all.
Yeah.
There's no evidence that it existed.
Yeah. I mean, but there are some pretty bad ones.
Oh, yeah. Though I will say, the Bally Sports one specifically, like when I was doing like Beanball broadcast, like doing like MLB free games of the week, the Bally Sports broadcast was good, just like get extra storylines to like fill the gaps.
Right.
But like watching it as like just a normal fan, get that off my screen.
No,
it's also terrible they do the same exact thing for the NBA.
No, like I don't understand. Like it just isn't necessary. Like I like the simple ones. I know it's kind of controversial to say a little bit, but like I've always been a fan of ESPN scoreboards. Like by and large, they look very clean. Like I understand people who don't like the huge scoreboard at the bottom, but like it's bold. It has the team logo, their record, their name, their colors, has all that, has all the necessary information. Doesn't need to be that big, probably not, but it kind of works when you have an opaque scoreboard to just have it at the bottom as opposed to like half translucent in the middle.
Right.
Because you can't have just like an opaque scoreboard there because it just, for the most part, looks weird.
It does, yeah. I get what you're saying. Just as a quick recap of the early history of sports broadcasting. So we were talking about it a little bit before the show, but I'm going to butcher this name, but Guglielmo Marconi.
Yeah.
With the first, it was an unlicensed radio broadcast of the America's Cup way back in 1899, but as far as we know, that is the earliest sports broadcast. That's how it all got started.
Yeah, everything developed from there. Marconi was he was mainly the guy who had the first big breakthrough in radio transmission of signals and sounds. So it makes sense that he would be the first to do it. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting that, 1899 is when everything started for that. That's a long time ago.
Where that started and the Cleveland Spiders ended.
Oh, gosh. Hey, at least, no matter what, we didn't have to hear the Cleveland Spiders play baseball. Did not have to hear that.
Exactly. That's the bright side of it there, right there, my friend.
Because that would have just been ripping on the team for a solid, I mean, God knows how long those games took back in the day.
Yeah. And because we are journalists, we're going to cite our sources real quick. That first Marconi information from New Yorker.
Yes, sir.
And then just have a few things from the Lawrence Daily Journal World. On November 27th, 1911 was the first live visual broadcast when C.V. Lay built a device on a gridiron in front of the Journal World office to make a live recreation of the Kansas versus Missouri football game. Like, going to that level of dedication, like, I mean, what else can you do? You don't have TV broadcast at that point.
Yeah.
So you got to do something for that. And there was over 1,000 people gathered on the street in front of the office just to see the whole spectacle. And then W.C. Fountaine from Western Union operated a wire service that broadcasted this game, or broadcast the quote-unquote game, I guess, everywhere else. So there was no delay in getting the story to the outside field. And a quote from the article itself, "Never has a man at the key handled the wire service in the manner that Fountaine did."
Yeah, I mean, Kansas, Missouri used to be absolutely huge before Missouri moved to the SEC for some ungodly reason. I still don't understand why they did that. But yeah, that game used to be huge. And I find it interesting that it was that. I mean, it just gives you a sense of time. It used to be that huge to where it was the first, I mean, pre-recorded sportscast ever was a game between those two football programs, as opposed to something like, I don't know, Ohio State, Michigan, or Stanford, Cal used to be the big game. Like, I mean, it's still called the big game. So like, that's it's interesting that it used to be that big. So y'all maybe should start playing each other again. I don't know.
Maybe, who knows? There's that from the Lawrence Daily Journal World. Caster.com, we have a little bit before that, actually. April 11th, 1921, KDKA in Pittsburgh aired the first official live sports broadcast. So while Marconi was the first to do it in general, KDKA did it officially the first time, and that was a boxing match between Johnny Ray and Johnny Dundee. Battle of the Johnnies there, my friend.
Yep. a lot of Johns back in the day.
Exactly. And they all love to box.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. And then
first televised sporting event was in 1939, the Summer Olympics in the United States. I'd imagine that probably would have been huge at the time, just because it's smack dab in the middle of World War II. I mean, America wasn't involved in the war at that point, but it wouldn't stay that way for long. A certain harbor made of pearls.
Mm-hmm. And a certain country in the Asian Pacific that woke a sleeping bear, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But a flashback to the year before that, Mel Allen also announced that the first World Series broadcast would be on CBS Radio, and then he was the announcer for the Washington Senators during the 1939 season. So a little bit throwback to radio there, and of course it's the FCC that's telling us that.
True, exactly.
Yeah. But between all of my school stuff and being behind on everything else, that's all I have. So we'll check it over to you for the rest of the history.
Bruh, you leave me in the dark here.
I decided I don't want to be behind on this, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this to the side so I can be behind on everything else.
Yes, exactly. Don't procrastinate on this so you can procrastinate on everything else. That's smart.
Exactly.
That is dare I say smart.
That is the smart.
I'm smart. Inside jokes aside, first sports color telecast in 1951, game between the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Boston Braves. I mean, both those teams not in those respective cities anymore, but I mean, you recognize the names. So even back then, those teams were huge in their areas. So
and now they're back to being some of the best teams in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, one of them just won the World Series. The other won it a couple years ago.
Yeah. And the Braves probably would have been there if they weren't so destroyed by injuries this year. My goodness.
Yeah. I think sports broadcasting has, I mean, obviously other forms of broadcasting have been like very influential in culture, but I think sports broadcasting in particular has made the sports that are being broadcasted way bigger. Like it's served a huge role in that, because obviously you got the newspapers. Those have been around for, I mean, ever since like the 1700s at this point. Newspapers have been around forever. So without broadcasting, people would still be able to get their news. But with sports, I think it would be a lot harder for people like outside of the cities that the teams play in to be able to like know what's going on, because obviously you can have like a box score and what goes on, but like an incredible play happens, you can only say so much with words. Like radio and TV broadcasts of sports have allowed, I mean, it's one of, I don't think it's the biggest in terms of like branding market in the world, but it's certainly up there, the sports market, in terms of pop culture. I think they're still behind movies, but either way, like, you know, sports wouldn't be what they are. I mean, we wouldn't know about example, our teams, the Mariners and Angels, living in Reno. We wouldn't know like anything aside from the box score, like of what happened without broadcasting. So I think it served a huge role there.
Well, we still have not knowing anything but the box score for the Giants and A's in this area. Talk about blackout restrictions.
Yeah. Broadcasting isn't perfect, but
we're still definitely in the Stone Age when it comes to like wide world, like nationwide broadcast for MLB. That's a whole situation right there.
Hey, maybe potentially, I don't know, owners should actually spend money on their teams, trying to, potentially get them better. I don't know, just a thought. Yeah. The Royals are consistently broke, and yet they continue to be able to rebuild over and over because they have an owner that actually cares.
Right. No. See, that's the fun thing with us being Angels and Mariners fans. You guys aren't spending money to be better. We're spending money to be worse.
Yeah. I mean, for Pete's sake, we were owned by Nintendo for a long time. Like, that is like the most Mariners thing.
And we were owned by Disney.
Disney and Nintendo, two incredibly clean corporations that do absolutely nothing wrong.
I know, right?
But yeah, no, like I think broadcasting has just allowed sports to get to a bigger audience. I mean, I guess it could be possible to like follow teams with just newspapers from outside cities in the United States. Now, talking overseas, that's certainly like not as viable whatsoever.
Right.
Because like American news getting over there without broadcasting would be nigh impossible. But without some form of radio transmission at the very least.
And not to mention, even if they did get over there, you have the language barrier to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
In a lot of places.
Yeah, it's that. And it's like, I think part of the reason why the NFL's like games in other countries have been so popular is just because to really like understand sports, you have to experience it. Like, you have to be able to see it. Now, obviously, there's radio commentary, but I think radio commentators are spectacular for the most part because they do a very good job of painting the picture of what's going on with their like ad-libs, descriptions, adages, everything that they say on the broadcast. It helps to serve the purpose of painting that picture. And that's why those games over there are so popular, is because once you've heard it or watched it, you want to see it in person, like with a ton of people around you, everyone cheering for one team or another, or just happy to be there, have an event. And I don't think that really happens without broadcasting, because I don't think it would be viable for sports leagues in America to go to other countries that, for the most part, probably have never heard of the sport.
Exactly.
And the reason they hear about it is broadcasting.
There you go. Because especially like even with like you broadcast a game, and like especially like TV broadcasts, they can see the game. Like, yeah, sports commentary does help, but like you can still see what's going on. You can still feel invested in it without commentary. I'm not trying to discount it at all.
Right.
I would think like sports are extremely boring without commentary.
Exactly.
But it's something like having the visual does help immensely.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah. You just have to have some sort of way to see it. And I mean, that's what broadcasting serves in the sports world. So like I said, I don't think sports become the physical giant that they are, if not for the advances in broadcasting that started all the way back in the 19th century.
Who would you say are some of your most legendary commentators?
Ooh.
Would you say?
There's a lot. I think so.
Tier list?
Say again?
Tier list?
Tier list much. We are definitely not sports nerds that make tier lists regularly on different
right?
stuff. Not at all.
Not like you have your. It's not like you have your own smart rankings, top 25 or anything like that.
No, not at all. Why is Kansas State ranked? Anyway, but I'd have to say, like, in terms of TV commentary, there's a bunch of guys that are just, legends of the game. I mean, I think the main one that gets brought up a lot is the duo of John Madden and Pat Summerall.
Throwing it back to Cunningham, the old flea picker, and open is Randy Moss, and in the end zone is a Minnesota touchdown.
Yep, you know they were going to do it. The fans knew they were going to do it. The Dallas Cowboys knew they were going to do it. You knew they were going to do it early.
Those two,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of the time, like, when I was younger, I disagreed wholeheartedly with people who said that Pat Summerall was one of the best of all time because, like, there would be an amazing play that would happen, and he'd just be like, touchdown, Randy Moss, or something like that. And I didn't like that for a very long time. I preferred, like, Madden's, like, analysis on what had just happened. But I think I've grown to appreciate Summerall way more. Like, just the contrast between him and Madden. It's not necessary for both of them to be extremely excited. And something about Summerall's monotone, like, commentary, he made the extraordinary seem ordinary, which for the most part is a really bad thing. But I don't know, just something about it. It made it seem like no matter the play, it was extraordinary in a roundabout way. I don't know if that makes any sense.
I get what you're saying. Like, I think especially the dichotomy between, like, John Madden being the really excited player, the really excited commentator, and then you have Pat Summerall just, like, kind of almost like doesn't want to be there. He's just paid to be there, doesn't want to do it. But, like, I think having that dichotomy really works because, like, if they were both over the top, like, screaming, I feel like it would get old really fast.
Yeah.
And then, like, you have the two going back and forth with their different personalities. That works on.
I think the best commentator of all time, I know he didn't do, like, TV broadcasting, like live commentary necessarily, but John Facenda.
Interesting. Okay.
So you know who that is?
I do not.
So he's the voice of NFL films.
Oh, okay.
So, like, the autumn wind is a raider. Like that came from him. I can't remember, like, most of his calls because I haven't watched as much NFL films as I probably should.
Well, that's okay. We'll have some in the episode right here.
Yeah, exactly.
The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
It's like he just made it seem grand. He didn't, like, necessarily get excited, but he had a way with words. Like, I think the best way to describe him is he was just a football poet. Like, he knew what to say to make everything seem, like, so important. Not necessarily, like, exciting, but even in huge blowouts, he would still keep it engaging the entire time. He never, like I said, he never did, like, live broadcasting stuff. He did all, like, pre-recorded, like, commentating with, like, a script and whatnot. But he had a huge part in NFL films becoming a thing to begin with, and a lot of the mystique around the NFL itself came from his commentary. So, like, he's one of a kind. Like, I like a lot of the newer guys who, like, commentate over, like, highlights and such, but I don't think anyone can even match John Facenda in that category for me. Yeah, he's like number one, on most top 10s of like the best commentators of all time, it's pretty much like consensus. He like 2 through 10 is always like a bunch of different guys depending on like preference, but Facenda's always at the top. That's like not debatable.
Yeah. Well, to add to that top, like 2 to 10 list there, I think one that's really big in my mind is Vin Scully.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
He is the voice of the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I don't like. Sure, you've got all these guys after
Yeah.
Vin Scully, R.I.P. But like,
Yeah. He traded in his headset for a halo.
exactly. There you go.
Yeah. Like Vin just
It's time.
his voice was just perfect for what he was doing. Like he did it's funny because whenever I hear his voice on like old NFL commentary, because he used to do that a lot, it sounds wrong because of how much I associate him with being the voice of the Dodgers.
Right.
But like it's still great commentary. Like he had much less knowledge of like the NFL and other sports he did than baseball, obviously, because that's like his forte. But like he still made every moment just like it's hard to describe. It feels like I'm talking with a family member about football or about baseball. Like he felt like he was having a conversation with the audience because there's the dynamic between the play-by-play guy and the color commentator. He always had that down, but in his play-by-play, he communicated directly with the audience at home, whether it be via radio or TV or whatever he was doing. He was like talking to all of us, and like it's a style of commentary I don't really see replicated much. He always made every moment special. Not necessarily exciting because like high pitch, high strung for 162 games a year plus some playoff games, like that would be impossible to listen to.
Yeah, it's also unsustainable.
Yeah, but he made every moment special. Like you could tell he loved what he was doing and just was enjoying life. And like honestly, I'm honestly surprised he did ever retire because like for a long time there, I thought he would end up announcing until the day they put him in the ground. Like he would be like in the hospital still calling games. Like but he ended up retiring, and that's, I mean, baseball's worse off for it because he was awesome.
Yeah, there will never be another voice of the Dodgers quite like him.
No.
Rest in peace.
Honestly, I'd associate him with being close to the voice of baseball.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I think the only other name that comes close to that would be Joe Buck, just because he called the World Series for forever.
And honestly, I'm glad you brought him up because I have a lot to say about Joe Buck.
Oh, here we go.
So it's weird because I think Joe Buck's like his passion has always been baseball. He like, especially when he was announcing like St. Louis Cardinals games when Mark McGwire was there, those are the calls like I remember when he got to 62 homers in 1998, like broke the record. Joe Buck did a fantastic job calling that. He was fully capable of showing excitement, and that's just what makes it so frustrating is that like for a long time he showed no excitement during broadcasts. Like I remember the 2007 or I guess 2008 Super Bowl, Giants Patriots, and the helmet catch.
Yeah.
That is one of the lowest energy, just tired, bored calls. And he explained it as like he didn't want to like get excited until he was sure Tyree caught it. That's fair. Newsflash, Joe, you didn't get excited when it was revealed Tyree had somehow caught that either. So for a long time, he was a really, really bad NFL commentator, which made it frustrating to have to listen to him every single week because he just did not show any emotion. But like, it's weird. Like around the 2011 World Series, the Cardinals Rangers with I think specifically when he imitated his dad's call at the end of Game 6 with
We will see you tomorrow night.
when David Freese hit the homer.
Oh, I didn't know he imitated his dad with that call.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I found out about that just a little while ago. Not like today, but like a few months back. His dad was the Cardinals commentator for a long time. So
I did not know that. I think that was, now that you bring up the 2011 World Series, I feel like that was his best series, like calls wise.
that was the turning point.
Yeah, I feel like especially like the end of Game 7, the what a team, what a ride.
Yep.
That one of the best World Series winning calls ever.
And honestly, it just like from that point on, Joe Buck across pretty much every sport just started getting better and better and better and better. Like game-winning moments, he was excited but not necessarily like over the top, and he started showing emotion. Like something about that moment, like it just clicked something within him, because like up until that point it had been bad, like outright bad. But then like I would turn on my TV on Sundays and like hear him, and I would start being like, I want to actually listen to this. I don't want to like actively change the channel, go watch a different game. And I think even though I'm a Packers fan, I think the Minneapolis Miracle call from Buck, that is still like one of my favorites of all time. Just because like I think that was the first time where I remember just being like, whoa, because he got so excited in a way that I haven't seen much before or since. Like,
and to be able to express that excitement through just 3 words.
Yeah.
That didn't even form a complete phrase.
Yeah, it
Just
like
dig sideline touchdown. There you go.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That one too. Like, just like I don't even know. I don't know what switch flipped within him after 2011, but he's become one of my favorite commentators. And honestly, his voice on Monday Night Football has been, I think it's been his best commentary.
Yeah.
Like, I miss him doing baseball because he was so good doing that. But like him focusing on football, even 2024, week 3 between the Commanders and the Bengals, when Jaden Daniels threw up that beauty to Terry McLaurin in the back corner of the end zone for a touchdown that kind of sealed the win. Like he showed a level of excitement that I still am just having a hard time getting used to. Like he's become a fantastic announcer. I used to dread watching him or listening to him on Sundays, but he's become something great.
Yeah. I was just looking up another one, which you'd think as an Angels fan I would know Victor Rojas's name, but I had to look it up real quick. I don't know if you remember her particular call whenever their Angels had a walk-off win.
I don't actually.
Yeah, the drive home safely one.
That I could honestly see that. The one I do remember is I forget his name, but the Mariners announcer with the Grand Slam, the rye bread and mustard, Grandma. It's a grand salami. Like that. That is so great.
Dave Niehaus.
Yep.
That's who it is.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but I never forget that call, and he had some great. It's funny, he stayed with the Mariners for so long. He announced so much bad baseball, like an absurd amount of bad baseball.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not hard because pretty much every game is usually bad, but it's like he was so just great in the mundane, terrible moments that I think a lot of Mariners fans just got excited for, okay, when is he going to finally get to announce something that matters? And when he did not disappoint.
Versus Victor Rojas, in his entire tenure, he commentated over 3 playoff games, none of which we won. He also had the grand salami time call with a grand slam.
Yeah.
And of course, who can forget Light That Baby Up?
Oh, yeah.
That one right there.
Yep.
Still a big thing in Angels culture today. Like, you look at every single posts the Angels have, you have hashtag LTBU right at the end of it.
Yep, exactly.
It's part of the Angels culture now, and also in like like what 2-3 years you got to call Ohtani, big fly Ohtani-san.
Mm-hmm.
That's another big call right there.
Yeah, it's like it just the fact that we know all this, like, yes, obviously we're nerds, but a lot of just general sports fans like would recognize this stuff, and like they like even people with a vague knowledge of sports are likely going to at least know a little bit of what you're talking about, and that's just how ingrained it gets within the culture surrounding sports. Like, obviously when it's our teams, we're most likely going to know most of this stuff. But like for a lot of these things to become part of culture, I think that just goes to show how influential broadcasting and commentary truly can be in sports. It's like, I mean, these guys have to be really, really good at their jobs, because a lot of people are going to remember it, whether they're good or if they're, terrible. So
Yeah, the A's announcer. Go ahead.
I will say, in her defense, she did get a little bit better over time.
Mm-hmm.
Still not great. Like the freaking Siri call is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever heard in my
And
life.
see, here's I do like the creativity behind that call.
It's very creative.
But he already hit a home run that night. It would have been like
The
okay.
karma less than like 15 seconds later for him to just bomb it.
Yeah, that
Like,
I,
absolutely ridiculous.
Speaking of like hitting a bomb right on cue, I had a really fun experience when I was doing Beane ball broadcast. I believe it was a Mariners Padres game, and
Of course it is.
it was Kyle Rowley up to bat in the first, and someone in my Twitch chat was saying how, like, do you think Big Dumper's gonna hit a home run this game? Of course, referring to Kyle Rowley. And I swear to God, not even 30 seconds later, I didn't see it at the time, so I didn't see his comment until after this at bat. But Kyle Rowley launched one into the upper deck, like within 30 seconds of him making that comment. And it was just seeing the reaction in chat, like, oh my goodness, no way. This man just hit a home run right afterwards.
I swear that is just something that happens with the Mariners, because you bring that up. Back in 2009, the Mariners had a color commentator named Mike Blowers. He was a former player for him, and like he would probably he wasn't like fantastic in terms of commentary or anything, but he like before a game in 2009, he made a prediction about one of the Mariners players who had never hit a big league home run yet. And he made a prediction before the game that the player was going to end up hitting his first career home run. I forget who this was that hit the home run. Oh, he's actually... Oh, wait, no. Yeah. Where's Mike Blowers?
Yeah. To go back to the Padres-Mariners game I was talking about, in the most Mariners fashion, the Padres won that game 7-3.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely unsurprising. You don't that's just how it.
Let's see. I called a few Mariners games. I don't recall broadcasting an Angels game, which is weird to say.
I mean,
no, I did Angels-Yankees on August 8th.
Oh yeah.
I did that one, and I think I also did a little bit of the July 3rd Mets at Angels.
That's who it is. So
August 3rd.
It was Matt Tuiasosopo. He had never hit a home run before. And Mike Blowers predicted before the game in a conversation that Tuiasosopo would hit his first home run that day. Well, he decided to go a little bit further on the prediction. He said that Tuiasosopo would do it on his second at-bat, on a 3-1 count, on a fastball, into the second deck in left field. And then his second at-bat in the 5th inning comes up, and it gets to a 3-1 count. And then Dave Niehaus starts, like, ramping up, like, I've never been so excited for a 3-1 count in my life. And then the fastball comes, and crack. It goes down the left field line, barely misses the second deck. Yeah, on his second at bat, 3-1 count fastball. That is one of my favorite moments of all time.
You cannot predict anything better than that.
That is perfection. Like, that is psychic level predictions. And honestly, I feel like that can really only happen with the Mariners. The most unpredictable team in baseball somehow becomes the most predictable.
Exactly. There you go. Most unpredictable team in the most unpredictable sport.
Yep.
There you go. That's the Mariners, baby.
For better or for worse, I love this team.
Yeah. At least we can keep our star center fielder around. Anyway. I don't know why I just had to throw that in there.
Hey, no, there are a few teams that, I mean, at least we've won a couple of playoff games in the last 20 years. How's that going for you?
It's going all right. I'll just take my 2002 ring and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how does your World Series ring feel on your finger? I'm curious.
It's made of paper mache, so I left mine at home.
Oh, did you?
I think there was I don't know. Being a Mariners fan sucks, man. Half the time. I mean,
yeah.
I would love to clown on you more, but like honestly,
well, I mean, hey, you guys had the most wins in 2001 in the history of baseball. How did that go for you? I'm sure you did really good that year.
We got yankied.
Yeah,
we got yankied.
And then you got to watch a team that didn't even exist 5 years ago go and win the World Series. Which, I mean, they won it the year before we did, but shut up.
Snakes really do not care about sentimental stories, do they?
Nope.
Not at all.
Yeah. You know what's it's the worst part? Because I was talking about this with my family. Like, we're big Diamondbacks fans. Because the D-backs hadn't existed for 5 years at that point, they didn't get the World Series prize money for winning that year.
Really?
Really, because they didn't exist long enough, basically.
Well, no wonder they sucked in the years following that. That's garbage. That's garbage.
They should, in my opinion, they should have received more money.
Yeah,
that's more impressive that team didn't exist in '97. All of a sudden, you're 2001 champions.
Honestly, I wonder when they put that rule in, because I don't think that was like a thing until the Florida Marlins won the World Series, because they won it in their 5th year. Genuinely, I feel like they kind of got screwed over by the Marlins.
Sorry, I was just looking at my phone. So, for context, I'm a TA here at UNR for a class called Transfer Fit. It's like a new experience for transfer students. One of the other TAs in the class just like put in the group chat. It's like, hey, is a meme an approved assignment submission?
Hey, if we're talking about just if we're talking about stuff in general, hey, I mean, it's a fun assignment at the very least.
Completely off topic, but I just had to share that.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But, yeah, I think that for the most part wraps it up. We're just shy of an hour right now, so.
All right.
If there's anything else you want to add, anything you want to plug or anything?
Yeah. Nah, not right now. Yeah. Just
you want to throw out the smart rankings?
Maybe. I don't know. Why? Seriously, again, though, why is Kansas State ranked? Why? And
I don't know. Why did it take until this week to get Missouri off of there?
And why is Missouri still on people's rankings? Like, dude, why?
Well, that'll be a fun topic for next week's episode of the Media Guide podcast.
Exactly.
So you can find
college football voter rankings that make no goddamn sense.
I know. Speaking of rankings, Chase Dulude is also on the platform for the student media poll.
Yep.
For college basketball.
Yes, I am.
So,
I know definitely less about basketball than I do about football, but I will do my best to. Someone put USC at 3 on that ranking, by the way.
That is
like
wild.
Like, are you serious?
They have 25 points, and 23 of them are from that guy.
Yeah.
We're not gonna call them out here, but like, all right. Well, let me just remember all the different usernames that I use on social media. Well, Chase gives us some of his stuff that he wants to show you.
Yeah. Follow me at Chase Dulude on the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. And yeah, pretty much my name, Chase Dulude, on every other social media platform. I don't post much. I mostly just repost sports stuff that I find funny. And who knows? Once I get working for a network, you'll probably find me on there.
Yeah. And as far as my stuff goes, at Beanball Broadcast on YouTube and Twitch. You can also find me at stringbean_RSJ over on Instagram and Threads out of spite. And also on X because I have the at RSJ Stringbean. And once again, I'll probably be starting up Blue Sky just as soon. Once again, just out of spite.
Exactly.
That's the main thing. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this inaugural episode of the Meaty Guide podcast. We'll be back next week to talk about some other parts of sports we alluded to here, but also the personalities of different sports commentators. That's what we'll be bringing up next week. And hope you guys have a good rest of your day, week, whatever.
Bye.